My check, 1, 2, 3. We live? I think we are live. Cool. Oh, it is a gorgeous day out today. It really is. I gotta get me like one of those like vlogger, holders, because this is a little bit shaky. Really trying to like keep like my hands smooth, but whatever. Oh, what's up, dude? Yo, what's up, Phillies special cards? How you doing? I think that's a little spongy. Little Spongy, is that you? I always forget, Little Spongy, if that's your account or not. I don't know why. I always seem to forget that. Oh, it is gorgeous outside here. Let me show you. I'm just walking around this park. It's really gorgeous out here. It's so nice. It's a great day. Nice weather in Jersey. Oh, for sure. Absolutely. It is nice weather today. I said before, I have to get one of those like vlogger holders, so that way I can just like hold up the camera rather than just using my hands. Eventually I want to try to get some more and more equipment, man. That's what I want to do eventually. But anyhow, nice breeze as well. Really, really nice breeze. I just wanted to come out here. I had to run some errands today, and decided to stop by. It's a nice day. I was like, I'm gonna just take a walk. I did survive the hurricane in Florida, thank goodness. I was worried about you. I was worried about Jane. Worried about Larry. Worried about everybody, man. I really was. I was thinking about all of y'all. I really, really was. So I'm really happy to hear that you're all safe. Oh, look at this. It's really sunny out here. Those people are flying kites. It's nice. There we go. All right. So why am I here? First of all, I wanted to talk to you guys as I walked, because I thought that'd be kind of cool. It's a change of scenery. You can also hear me a little bit. You'll probably hear wheels on the bus go round and round jingle in just a little bit, because we're passing by Mr. Softy, and that's what they're playing. They're playing some jingles. But there's a couple of things that I wanted to come on here and just talk about. All right. Sorry, I just wanted to show y'all. He's wearing a Yankees shirt. Oh, man. Boo the Yankees. All right, so first and foremost, okay, I wanted to really just talk about like the big four sports, bro. I really did. And so let's start off with the elephant in the room, and that is, of course, the Philadelphia Phillies. I don't want Alec Bohm on my team next year. I really don't. I don't want Alec Bohm on my team next year. I'm maybe talk to me in like a couple of months, but I'm very disappointed with how things ended with Alec Bohm. And I know that he had overall a great season, and he was their run producer, and I don't forget about that. But my goodness, when we needed Alec Bohm to come through, the immaturity, man, the immaturity sucked. It really did. It ticked me off so much. Not hustling into second base, not even just going 2 for 30, but our manager actually had the testicles to bench him, and yet he actually pinch hit in the same game, and he pops out on the first pitch. The pitch was like literally on the top tier part of the strike zone, and he pops out. If I was the manager of that team, I would have benched him again. And that was the identity of the Phillies this year. I was really scared to admit it, and I did not want it to happen like that. But that's the truth, dude. Immaturity is what defined this Phillies team this year. They were so immature, and nobody took accountability. Nobody stepped up, except for Bryce Harper and Nick Castellanos. And I can't let the starting pitching off the hook either. Ranger Suarez pitched his butt off. He really did. But the fielding the ground balls, not hustling to throw it over to first. I mean, my goodness, man. I don't want that guy on my team now. I know it was just 2 games, but those were the 2 most important games, and he did not show up. And that was Ben Simmons, James Harden-esque. That's the truth. So now you got to try to find a way to trade him. And we have a problem over at third. And I never wanted to admit it. And I did not think it would ever escalate to that area. But it did. And that's the truth. I look at the Mets, and I watched the game last night. I did, as I was flipping through the channels of watching the Giants lose as well. But I did watch that Mets game, and the Dodgers did what we were supposed to do against the Mets. That's the truth. But that's thing number 1 I wanted to point out about the Phillies. Number 2, they need to retool. They absolutely need to retool. I don't want to rebuild, right? I don't think we have to get rid of Kyle Schwarber. If we have to drop Castellanos' contract, that's fine with me, okay? But Castellanos was not the problem. Castellanos was actually one of the most consistent players this year for the Phillies. And that's the truth there. Bryce Harper, he's not getting younger. We got to surround Bryce with the right pieces. There's no doubt about that. And Trey Turner, I am angry at him. I'm actually mad at Kyle Schwarber too. I don't think Kyle Schwarber's getting enough heat. Kyle's been a guy who has been a part of a couple of World Series championship teams, and yet he went, besides the home run, he went 0 in the series. And when we actually needed him against Edwin Diaz, I know that he was 0 for 10 against him in his career with 8 strikeouts. But, dude, you got to come through there. You actually have one chance to actually tie the game for just a sliver of hope, and he didn't come through. I needed Schwarber to come through, and that did not happen. You know who else I want gone from my team? Rob Thompson. I want all the coaching staff gone, including Caleb Cotham. Cotham, Long, everybody that's a part of the analytics team, I want them gone, and I want to try to get younger. I want a head coach, I want a manager, I want other people on this team that can help them play fundamental baseball. That's what we lack. We lack fundamental baseball, and we don't have killer mentality. We're just a one-sided team. We're one-dimensional. Really, two, I guess you could say, because we have strong pitching now, too. But offensively, we're not a 5-tool team. And what do I mean by that? Well, we don't run the bases that much like other teams. We don't have a patient approach at the plate, and we don't play small ball. We play a long ball, and we can also get doubles, but we get behind in the counts a lot, and that's what matters. There was never a sense of urgency after the All-Star break, says Denbrew, and I totally agree with that. And that's on my third point that I was going to make about Dave Dombrowski. Dave Dombrowski failed. Dombrowski failed, and as smart as a president of baseball operations as he is, he failed this team. He failed the city. He let everybody down. And it's a shame because John Middleton said, I want my trophy back, to put it nicely. And Dave Dombrowski didn't allow for that to happen. They get Austin Hayes and Carlos Estevez. I wasn't mad about the Estevez deal, but they needed another reliable arm in the bullpen, and they needed another reliable bat. and he refused to do that, and he didn't do that at all. So Dombrowski failed. The whole organization failed this year. The whole expectation was World Series or bust, and the Phillies failed. Now, don't blow it up. We got to retool. JT Realmuto's not getting a lot of heat either, and he absolutely should get a lot of heat. My catcher's getting paid over $200 million, and he's like playing his butt off during the regular season, and then in the postseason, when I need him to come through on the defensive side and the offensive side of the plate, he cost his team. He didn't do well. He went 0 in the series. 0. Crazy. I don't think he's getting enough heat at all. So, and then the bullpen. Look, the bullpen collapsed. Okay, I did not think that was going to happen. I trusted the bullpen. Matt Strahm, Jeff Hoffman. I think the miles were on the tires, and they just could not come through. I would run the bullpen back. I really would. I liked what Jeff Hoffman and Matt Strahm were able to do this year. I'm willing to give the bullpen another chance, but I need more bats before next season. And I need to get rid of Alec Boehm over at third base. I'm willing to try it again with Bryson Stott over at second. You know, I still believe in Bryson Stott, but I'm ready to move on from Boehm. I'd be ready to move on from Trey Turner if they wanted to do that too. I don't really have a patient approach anymore. I was promised a World Series championship, and I haven't even got it. So, I hate to be like this because, you know, I've been pretty patient. I have. Even during the regular season, I bat this team up. But they lost in the first round to the Mets. That was the first time you ever played them in the playoffs. Ever. And they really should have swept them. They played 3.5 good games, the Mets. So, those are my thoughts about the Phillies. Only fix what needs fixed. I like your thinking, JJ. Denbrew, you two, valid points across the board. Yes. All right. So, that's all I got to say about the Phillies. That was the elephant in the room that I needed to address. I actually, one more point about baseball. I have to check to see what time the Yankees are on tonight, but I think I am going to do the game. I have to make a live stream about that. I wanted this weekend to just sort of hit the refresh button and just figure out like what we're going to do now that basketball's coming, and hockey's here as well, and we're still in the middle of football season. The Yankees play at AJJ, I think. Okay, that's what I thought. Thanks for letting me know. And I also just like wanted to just clean up and try to get out a little bit more, talk to people, and hang out. So I went to a friend's house yesterday, watched the Eagles game, and let's get into that now. Yep, let's get into that. PAS says first pitch is at 7:30. Thanks, my guy, appreciate it. Philly halftime says Rob needs to go. It's not only Rob Thompson, my guy. I said it before, I'll say it again. It's the whole entire coaching staff, the whole entire analytics team. Everybody has to go. And Dave Dombrowski is honestly starting to get on the hot seat now. I'm not there yet, but he needs to have an A+ off season. I will keep you all in the loop with how things are going in the off season, because there's not really a lot of Phillies content creators out there like Halftime and I. Halftime does a really good job of keeping up with the Phillies. But, I think that as the off season goes, we definitely need to push out more and more content about this team, because not a lot of people on YouTube are doing that. And I want us to become more reliable in that sort of sense. But yeah, let's talk about yesterday's game. Okay, let's transition and let's talk about the Birds. I said that Alec Boehm has to go for the Phillies. Said that Rob Thompson has to go. Nick Sirianni by far has to go. I cannot stand the attitude I cannot stand, the mindset of him bringing his kid into the press conference after the game and him talking to the fans and chirping back and forth. You beat the Browns. You beat the Browns. You had a bye. And during the bye week, what's really funny? During the bye week, the players, according to him, came into his office to tell him what he needs to do a better job at. Dude, do you realize what your job is? Do you? You're the head coach. That's literally in the job description. The players shouldn't tell you what to do. You should be telling the players what to do. And get their insight, sure, absolutely, but you're the one that has to come up with a game plan, and this is a bigger problem to me. This is an organizational issue, man. It really is. Because I don't think Jeffrey Lurie is going to let go of Nick Sirianni during the middle of the season. He didn't do that with Chip Kelly, So that really does concern me because from the top down, they're having their own problems as well. I thought that pass to A.J. Brown at the end, as nice as a pass as that was, it wasn't necessary. It really, really wasn't necessary at all whatsoever. They didn't have to do that. They didn't have to go to that play. They could have ran something a little bit more simpler. They could have ran the ball. They could have went with a shorter pass. There was no need to go for the deep ball. And we're happy that it worked, but that could have been picked off. And with the way that this Eagles team has been playing, I don't trust them. I really don't. I don't trust them at all whatsoever. They're another team that does kind of remind me. They actually kind of remind me a little bit of the Phillies because they have all this top-tier talent with AJ, with Devontae, and with all these really, really good weapons that they have, Dallas Goedert. But man, they just can't figure it out. On the defensive side, my goodness, man. Deshaun Watson actually looked okay out there against that defense. Soft coverage defense. And it's like I'm watching last year's defense. Literally, there's no blitzing. They got pressure, but it was so easy to get pressure off of them when they did, So that really annoyed me as well. I thought that overall, in the very first quarter, the goal was to set the tone out there, and they did not. I'm watching 3 and outs. I'm watching Jalen Hurts get sacked out there and just not doing a good job at taking care of the football again, not being put into a position to succeed. And they're, just 3 and outs all the way. And then finally, they were able to break through. They weren't getting a lot of field goals up there. They weren't getting points on the board. I thought that they left meat on the bones at times. Really, just pathetic. There's no reason why they should feel that happy about a win against the Cleveland Browns yesterday. Sure, they won the game, and we're going to be even more disappointed if they lose that game, but they proved nothing yesterday. They proved nothing to me yesterday, and I'm even more frustrated at the organization. Really, I think it's really, really sad. Sirianni lacks emotional maturity, and that's what Alec Bohm lacks too. There's no maturity, and there's no leadership. And it's locker room cancers, man. I'm sick of the saying it's tough to get a W in the NFL. Dude, it's your job. Yeah, but it's not even just that. I understand the point of that. It is tough to win in the NFL. But when you have supposedly a top-tier offense, this offense really should be like a top 5 offense. With Saquon, with AJ, with Devontae, Dallas Goedert, right? We can talk about Jalen Hurts all that we want, but those 4 guys, Lane Johnson, you have some really, really big pieces on that offense. You just do. And there's no reason why, offensively speaking, they should be averaging about 24 points per game. I think maybe that's a little far-fetched, but it's I think it's really sad. And this team has a lot of problems that I don't think are going to be able to fix. Bryce Huff has been a really big problem for them on defense. Um, I think Quinyon Mitchell needs to be getting more touches, and maybe this Darius Slay injury is a good thing in disguise, because the young guys deserve to be getting more minutes. They deserve to be getting more snaps out there, and they deserve to be getting more reps. I thought Quinyon did all right yesterday. I want to see more Cooper DeJean. I thought that I saw more of him yesterday on the punt returns for the special teams, but also I thought that he did a pretty solid job out there. I need the young guys to play and the older guys to just be sitting out there. You know, that's really what I believe that they have to do. They did put more pressure on Deshaun Watson a little bit yesterday, but the game plan was not good enough. It was not good enough. There's no reason, they're fully healthy. They're fully healthy for the most part. You got a bye week, and I thought that they were very unprepared from the get-go. The Dotson trade was a bust. Yeah, well, that's not looking like a good trade right now. It's not. I was fine with it at first. Now all of a sudden I miss Hassan Reddick. I do. We're not getting a lot of blitzes at all. I don't trust this defense. Every time we need to get a stop, we put up a long drive, whatever it is, the defense bails out on us for the most part. It's hard. I don't know if it's just Vic Fangio. I think that Nick Sirianni is sticking up for his coaching staff, and he's taking the bullets at times. But it also wouldn't surprise me if Sirianni is making the play calls as well on the defensive side. But anyhow, I don't know. I'm really pissed at the Eagles. I think that they're really frustrating. Jalen Carter did all right yesterday. Jordan Davis, problems again with him, not being able to cover the holes, stopping the run. I don't feel better about the Eagles, man. I don't feel better at all whatsoever. I thought yesterday maybe I might feel a little bit better. I don't feel good about this team at all. I think the Commanders have the NFC East. And I think the Eagles are in a lot of trouble. There's talk that the Eagles are trying to trade for Cooper from Cleveland. Amari Cooper? Yeah, that's not really going to solve anything either. You having A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith as your top two should be enough. That should be enough. If there's anything that they need to address, player personnel-wise, it's the linebacker position. They need to get more people in the linebacker position out there. I saw Nakobe Dean miss a tackle yesterday, and I finally was like, I had enough of you, man. I've had enough of Nakobe Dean as well. Just not, literally a player is just running right by him, and he just slips right through him, tries to tackle him, he can't even take him down. Really, really unbelievable how we're at that point now. Before it was just like, well, he has to stay healthy. But Jeremiah Trotter Jr. needs to be getting more snaps. He does. Absolutely. But yeah, those are my thoughts about the Birds. I can't stand them either. What else? What else do we want to talk about? Going around the horn here just a little bit. I'm glad that the game wasn't available to watch yesterday, says Ten Brew. Yeah, it was a bad game overall. But isn't it funny how those Dallas Cowboys think that they're the greatest team ever, and the Lions just come in to Dallas in Jerry World and pants them? Boy, did that make me smile. Boy, did that put a smile on my face. That was awesome. That was really, really cool. This Detroit Lions team, I think, is going to win the NFC. I do. I think that this Detroit Lions team is really, really good. I can't even sleep on the Vikings anymore. Vikings have something cooking, man. They're really, really good as well. When you have offensive-minded head coaches, that goes a long way. You got to put points on the board, man. It's what you got to do. But, yeah, this Detroit team looks for real, and they look really, really solid out there. Caleb Williams also, I think, is the man. I think Caleb Williams is really, really talented at football. But overall, very disappointed in the Eagles. I don't think that they win the NFC, and I feel a lot worse about them and Howie has a lot that he has to address. And it first starts with firing Nick Sirianni. That's the first move. That's step one. But, yeah, I don't want Bill Belichick to come on in. I know that there's been a lot of talks about Bill Belichick. I don't want Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick, there's a reason why it did not work out in New England, okay? Sometimes what happens is in sports, the game gets away from you and you sort of age out of the game. And I think that he's at that point. I don't think that his philosophies would work. As a defensive coordinator, sure. I think he'd be a nice defensive coordinator, but then it would look really weird that we take Vic Fangio out of the defensive play calling and just add in Bill Belichick. I don't want Belichick, though, as a head coach. I really, really don't. I think we have to look into another direction, but that's just me. I didn't really get to... I think it's so stupid transitioning over into hockey and talking about the Flyers. I think it's so stupid how Gary Bettman starts the season off with not only back-to-back games, but their West Coast games. They start off the season playing 5 teams in the West Coast on the road to start off the season. And I'm trying to, get into watching Michkov play out there, who's really fast, by the way, and looks awesome. He does. He looks so awesome. I'm so excited about the Flyers this year. But I think that that's, really, really annoying for sure. I thought that in the first game against Columbus, when I did watch, it looked really, really good out there. It sort of got out of hand at the very, very end. Thought that they sort of took their foot off the gas pedal. I think that fatigue sort of settled in, it looked like. But just what really stood out to me, of course, though, was Michkov. He had an apple. He had an assist out there. He looked really, really good. I wanted them to get a goal, but I'll take an apple. I'll take the points. I really, really will. But overall, I'm excited about them. I think that they're the most exciting team, to be honest with you. I do. I wanted to say something else. Dude, Tyson Forster looks really good out there, too. I'm excited about what he's going to be able to do this year. Start with the West Coast and swing back-to-back and swing back-to-backs. Yeah, I think that that's so stupid. And they're traveling back-to-backs as well. That's such an awful way to start off the season. You're putting them in a position to fail. And Michkov should be getting the primetime games. I'm just going to say that right now. Look, Fedotov let some goals get past him. I didn't think that he looked really, really good out there. They're going to have to try to clean things up on that side of the ice. But I like the competitiveness that they're bringing to the table. Now, the Morgan Frost thing is interesting to me because I really like what they've been able to do out there with Tyson Forster, and also, Drysdale, I think, played really, really well. But I'm curious to see how the rotations look. Urson did look really good out there. He did. Hopefully, he can keep that up this year. I think that he'll be better this year. I do. I want him to get a lot of games under his belt, and I want him to go out there and have a really, really good year. The NHL wouldn't do that for the Oilers, the Penguins, the Bruins, or the Rangers. Yeah, of course, they just have to do that to the Flyers. It's ridiculous. But if there's any coach out there that I trust dealing with fatigue and dealing with those types of things, it is Tortorella. It really is. I think that that's actually one of his biggest strengths, to be honest with you. I think that he does a really, really good job at that. Making sure that these players are conditioned and making sure that they're hockey ready. I do. What else? What else stood out to me about the Flyers? again, like, the 10 o'clock games, it's such a brutal way to start off the season. I didn't really watch like too much of it just because there's such like late start times. But from what I did see, those were the things that honestly stood out to me. I'm not a huge fan of torch, but look forward to see how the season goes. I agree. Yeah, I think that with the way that things are going, I think that the Flyers are setting themselves up for success. I still do believe, though, that last year at the trade deadline, they needed to make some more moves. I think that they needed to be more aggressive, and they didn't. And that's what sort of the Phillies lacked with this year, too, was aggressiveness at the deadline. They should have tried to go after some, key veteran pieces because they had a really big chance of going into the playoffs, and they collapsed last year. And part of the reason why was because of fatigue, but also, having those veterans, especially in hockey, it is so important to have those types of guys on really good teams. And I think that they could have gotten some pieces out there, and they didn't do that, Keith wasn't really so aggressive at the deadline, and neither was Danny Briere. JJ, you're alive. Yes, I'm here. It doesn't matter the Preds are winning the cup this year. We spent some money. Yeah. I know. It is what it is. I don't think that. I don't know if we're going to be a playoff team this year. I'm just really, really excited to be able to see steps forward with this organization. I think that they finally overall got their acts together, and they're in a better direction right now with heading into the future. I really do still believe that. Where are we at? Walking around the neighborhood? No, we're at a park. We're just enjoying nature today. And I thought, you know what? I'm not really here with anybody. It's a nice day outside here in Jersey. So why don't I just go live, and why don't I just talk to you guys and just vent to you about Philly sports. So, yeah, so we talked about that. We talked about the Flyers. We talked about the Phillies. We talked about the Eagles. And now the final elephant in the room is the Sixers. Good practice for you. What did you say? It doesn't matter the Preds are winning. I'm excited to hear you call some hockey. Going to be good practice for you. Yeah, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun this year doing some Flyers games. It's going to be really, really nice. I have not released my schedule just yet of what I'm going to be doing, but I do plan on doing some more lives, especially for my members. I think that that'd be really, really cool. I also am still planning on covering the World Series. We'll do some of the NLDS. We'll do tonight's ALCS games. Oh my gosh, I'm still thinking that the Phillies are still in this, and obviously they're not. NLCS and ALCS will do that, and we'll start transitioning back into the NFL, and I have to start getting my spotting boards ready for this week, so that's going to be really cool. And then, we start building things back up and covering the Phillies off season. We got a lot ahead of ourselves, and that's nice. The baseball season, what's tough is that it's every single day. It's such a big commitment just to do it every single day. And now it's even if I'm doing, one hockey game a week, and if I'm doing the Sixers, and if I'm doing the Eagles, maybe that's 4 to 5 days, but I at least have 2 days off, which is nice. So I get some more free time, and that would be really, really cool. It's consistency. Yeah, man, it's there's a lot of things that go into it. Consistency is a big part of it. Let's talk about the Sixers now. So we talked a little bit about the Flyers, talked a little bit about the Birds, talked a little bit about the Phillies. Now it's about the Sixers. Yeah, I hate to say this. But I am I'm bought in, but I need the big fella to be healthy. And I'm hearing reports about him and Paul George not being able to play back-to-backs this year. Now, granted, I did look at the schedule a little bit, and they're not going to be playing as many back-to-backs, which is nice, but I need those two guys to stay healthy this year Paul George looks really good out there. I can't lie. And Tyrese Maxey looks quick from what I've been able to see. I haven't really been watching a lot of these games, but just from looking at them and watching highlights, they look good. And I'm watching a couple of quarters, too. I did watch a couple of quarters. I think that this team has really good makeup to them. I like how Nick Nurse is the coach. I trust Nick Nurse. I think that he's a really, really good head coach. I want to see Ricky Council try to get some more minutes this year. I think that he should be a bigger part of the rotation. But overall, I can't lie. I'm looking forward to this year. I don't know what seed they're going to finish, and I don't know if they're going to even make it out of the Eastern Conference, because I still think that Boston's the better team. But man, this team looks pretty scary out there. And Paul George looks good. He does. He looks really good on defense. And with the way that he's been able to ISO and put up threes and also catch and shoot as well, that's nice. Jared McCain looks really good from what I've seen as well. He looks like he's really fast, and I think that he could be a big spark plug off the bench for them. And I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do as a facilitator out there. Reggie Jackson, I think that was a nice move. I like the Eric Gordon move as well. First, I didn't like it, but then I thought, you know what, again, you need veterans. You need guys that can still shoot. You know, you need guys that can just put up shots. And I think that Eric Gordon does that. But I'm concerned about the big guy. I am. I'm really concerned about the big guy. And as talented as he is, and as great as a basketball player as he is, you know, him not playing in the preseason is one thing. But if he's not ready for the regular season, then we got problems. If they're saying out there that, you know, because he played in the Olympics, that he's not going to be available for opening day, then I don't feel good. And I don't feel as good if Paul George and him are not going to be playing in back-to-backs. So more reps for Tyrese Maxey, which is great, but I'm trying to win a championship. And I need consistency, and I need reps out there. I need guys to be out there and play a lot together and build that team chemistry, you know? So, ball this year should be interesting for the Sixers. Expectations for them is to make it out of the Eastern Conference. They set that up to their standards. Don't know if they can beat Boston. I don't think that they're better than Boston, but that's as we stand today. Today is October 13th or whatever. But I think that we are contenders. I don't think that we're better than Boston, though. Maybe we're better than the Knicks. Karl Anthony Towns going there, it's a big gamble. It's either really good for them or really bad for them. But I am excited to see this basketball team. I'm actually going to the game on opening day, so I won't be streaming that day because I'm going to be going on opening day, and that should be fun seeing, you know, Doc Rivers go up against Nick Nurse and Giannis and all that sort of stuff. Giannis against Joel Embiid is always a fun one. Damian Lillard against Tyrese Maxey will also be very, very interesting as well. But yeah, I'm excited to be going to opening day. I'm going with my boys just to go see the Wells Fargo Center, and it should be rocking over there. So, but yeah, overall, just my overall thoughts. Very disappointed in the Phillies. Concerned about like what they're gonna do to retool. I don't really know how much of a window that they have left with this core. The Eagles, very concerned about them. Don't think that they're even going to make it into the playoffs, which doesn't, I guess, surprise me at this point. Flyers, excited to see what they're going to be able to do this year. I am really, really looking forward to it. There's no expectations for them. And Michkov, I think, is really special, man. I do. The little in-between-the-legs pass that he had, just getting the defender on you know, skating backwards on ice. It's just, it's fun to watch him play hockey. It is. It is really, really fun to watch him out there. So, I'm going with my boys from college, Mitch. I'm going with my boys from college, so we're going to see the Sixers game. I also want to make my way down to the Fargo to see a Flyers game this year. I did that last year, and I want to try to go to some more this year. So, excited about the Flyers. Nervous about the Sixers just because they have expectations. But still looking forward to their season as well, seeing what Paul George can do. And yeah, it's a weird state to be in for Philly sports. It really is. I don't know. But anyhow, those are all my thoughts. I want to hear from you guys, though. How do you guys feel about all these Philly teams? What are your thoughts about the Phillies? What are your thoughts about the Sixers, the Eagles, and the Flyers? Please let me know down below. Denver says, good to hear from you, JJ. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. It's nice to be able to get back onto the camera, you know? And again, I got to get me one of those holders. You know what I mean? Gonna get one of those vlogger holders. I'll do that. But, all right, man. I'll be back on later tonight. We'll do another baseball game. We'll do the Yankees game. It's game's on at, 7:30? So if 7:37 is the first pitch, we'll do that game. And then, yeah, man, time to get into Flyers, Eagles, and Sixers, man. It's the truth. Got to get all into that. Gimbal says on the Go Steeler, you have a good one. You too, man. All right, I think I'm going to sign off right now. But I love you guys, and I will catch you all tonight. All right? See you later.